Hi everyone, it's Fran here. Today I've got a fun little tutorial for you. I wanted to do something a little bit different and fun but kind of useful at the same time. So I'm going to be creating a card today using minimal products, and I mean minimal. So I'm going to be using like literally about sort of 3 or 4 pieces of equipment. The idea is to be literally using minimal products, okay? So there's going to be no scissors, there's going to be no glue as such. Well, I say it's kind of like bare bones crafting, and we're going to see what we can create just by using a very few bits and bobs, okay? So this is my card blank, so just a plain card that I've got. I'm going to be using a pencil, so this is just the standard soft graphite pencil. Okay, I've got a sheet of 6x6 paper. I've also got some gesso, so this is just white heavy gesso. I'm going to be using my silicone spatula as well, just to apply the gesso. And last but not least, I am going to be using some double-sided tape, okay? But the catch with this is we are going to be using 2 centimetres, so this is the amount, roughly 2 centimetres of tape. So I'm just going to measure it on the ruler just so you can see that that is roughly around about only 2 centimetres of double-sided tape. Okay, so this really is kind of frugal crafting on a budget, and I think it's kind of quite fun to see what you can create by literally using barely anything. It kind of gets your brain working, it gets your creativity pulled out more. I think sometimes that's easier than if you've just got, you know, everything out, all your craft room out, all your boxes. You've got so much choice. Sometimes I think you can get overwhelmed with too much choice. So that's why I often like to just kind of make things with bare minimal products. I don't normally use as little as 2 centimetres of double-sided tape or no glue, but we will see how we fare today. The one good thing as well about just using gesso is I'm probably going to be using that as a little bit of an adhesive as well. I mean, it's obviously not the best, but it will do a job to an extent. So I'm going to start with, let's move my bits aside. So I'm going to get my card blank out, okay, first of all, and we've got the paper. So this is double-sided paper, if you can see that there. And I'm just going to start by, move that out of the way, just tearing strips of paper. Okay. So I think what my idea is at the minute is I want to kind of cover most of the background of my card. I should hopefully have enough with my 6x6 sheet, because obviously I can't go and get another sheet, so this is all I have. So I'm just going to use some gesso. So this is just Prima Art Basics white gesso. I'm just going to put my spatula in there, and I'm just going to go over my card blank. So just a thin layer of the gesso, and then I'm just going to kind of pop the paper on top. So might need a little bit more, because obviously gesso isn't generally an adhesive, but as I say, for this purpose we're going to see how we can make do with very little. So it's similar if you used acrylic paint as well, it would have the same properties really. So I'm just going to pop this on, so I'm just kind of creating a background. I'll just put that up a little bit so it's okay. So as I don't have any scissors, which I just forgot, I'm going to just tear the excess off. Okay, so I'm just going to give it a little bend and then tear off. So just bend it back and then tear. So I've got a few extra strips there which I'm going to keep. So I'm not going to be throwing anything away today. Right, so this is what I've got at the minute. Now I'm going to just pop another couple of bits of gesso on top of the paper, and then I'm just going to put this off cuts or off tears of my paper on a few of the little gaps. So put a little bit more on. So I've not limited my gesso too much for this one. Maybe I should have just measured a thimble full of gesso out, and that would have been fun to see how far we could have got with a thimble full of gesso and 2 centimetres of double-sided tape. But we've got the whole tub, so let's see how we go. Right, so this is what we've got there. Okay, so I've got a decent background there just by, say, using just a couple of strips of the double-sided paper. So I've got this much left, so hopefully I'll be able to do something with that shortly. Okay, so next I am just going to pop some gesso on top of it with my spatula. So this acts as a bit of a toner to the paper, so it just blends it in a little bit more. So that's a great thing you can do with gesso if you find the paper, you like the paper but it's a little bit too bright, or you don't like the paper and you want to cover it up but you can still use papers that you don't like, etc. This is a great way to utilise them, just by toning down with gesso. And in this scenario it also actually serves us to keep the paper flattened down a little bit more, so it basically sticks it down a little bit more than just having the coat of the gesso underneath. Okay, so that's what we've got there. So just a nice little coat of the gesso going on. So next I have got my paper, and what I'm going to do next is, as we have no scissors, I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to tear a bit off there, and I'm just going to go around to form a circle, or something that is going to hopefully resemble a circle. It's more like an oval at the minute. Okay, so that works. That looks okay. And then I'm just going to use a little bit of gesso. Just spread that onto the background, and then I'm just going to pop that roughly in the middle of my card there. Okay, so press it down a little bit. So next, may need those bits of paper later. Next, I'm just going to decide. Oh, I've got a pencil, so this could be handy. I'm going to do some doodling, I think. So I'm going to just draw some basic petals that look more like leaves, but that's fine. And then of course the hard part is getting these cut out, just by, well, ripped out I should say. So I'm going to see how we fare. Okay, so I'm just going to try and do this as best I can. And it's actually quite fun to use, or not to use scissors for once, because then it's, I mean, obviously if you're doing precise work you're not going to be not using scissors, but it is actually kind of fun as a challenge to not use any. Okay, so I've got one there. Okay, another one. And also I've no idea at this stage how this is actually going to turn out. I'm just literally going for it. I've got a rough idea of where I want to go with it, but I'm just playing around to see what we can get. So hopefully I can get about 5 petals, because I think uneven number of petals or leaves looks nicer than an even number. Okay, so we've got another one there. Now if I can scrabble up, okay, I'm going to try this one. This is my little offcuts there. And one of my favourite things to do is I've often got a lot of bits and bobs on my desk of paper offcuts and scraps. There's often ribbons or materials, twine, you know, embellishments or chipboard bits, or just spare you know, crystals or gems, and I often just like to literally create a project out of things that I've just still got on my desk. So that's quite a good way as well of creating things, because often you don't really, you know, use all that stuff, or you don't notice it's there, and I just like to sort of concentrate on using all those random little bits and bobs up that you've often have lying about after you've sort of made something else. So that's one of my favourite things to do. Okie dokie, so you can see there that I have 5 petals, and now I'm going to deploy my double-sided tape. So hopefully I can tear this, and I'm just going to pop a little bit under each petal. So I'm going to have to use this really sparingly. I have got the gesso, but I don't want to use all my tape up because I might need it on later on. So obviously creating a card like this is never going to be your or any kind of project will be your sort of finest work generally. I mean, you know, you might surprise yourself, but as I say, I think it's nice to do things like this now and again, just to sort of give yourself a bit of a jump start and think, oh, I can just, you know, use random things, or, you know, you just thinking outside the box more than you would do if, you know, you're sitting down with everything in front of you. As I said earlier, it does kind of give you a bit of a task to get your brain working with. Okay, so this is what I've got at the minute, so I'm quite happy with that. That's okay. And I think I want to try and get a little centre in my flower, and actually that would look really nice with some crystals or gems, but unfortunately they're prohibited for this task. So I have a teeny tiny piece of double-sided tape left, if you can see that on my finger. So I'm going to pop that in the middle and just put my tape to one side just in case I need that. Okay, so that looks kind of quite fun and nice, and I'm just going to look through the offcuts of my paper that I can use anywhere in the project, just to kind of give it a little bit more of a so at the minute you're presently watching me thinking. Okay, so I've got an idea for what I can use. So I'm just going to use this long scrap. Okay, I'm going to tear it again. I always think teared things look quite nice anyway. I'm just going to pop a... Oh, let's see. Have we got any double-sided tape left? We've got a little bit. So... Ooh, I've lost my tape. Okay, so I've not got much left, so I'm like literally just putting one bit in the middle of it, and probably just put a little bit of gesso on the top as well, just to okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of gesso on top and a tiny bit underneath, as I've run out of double-sided tape. I'm just going to pop that on like so. Okay, so I'm just going to see if I can get my scraps and see if I've got enough paper to fashion a little mini leaf out of some paper. So you can see I've just managed to do that. So we're going to have to go with gesso now. It would be better to stick down with some tape, but there we are. Okay, so I've got one. Let's see if I can just about manage to get two out. Put a little bit of gesso on the back. Okay, so I have my leaves on, and I'm just going to I think I'm just going to put some highlights on with my graphite pencil. Okay, a soft, very soft graphite pencil, pretty much one of the softest you can get, and I'm just going to go and do a little bit of highlighting. I've also got some water, just a water spray, as I felt that should be permitted to use a little bit of water. So I'm just spraying some water in, mix my pencil into it just to sort of soften it up and get it so it's nice and blendable. And just going to go around the edges of things a little bit. As these are that soft, you could also just go on and rub them as well, so you can do all the edges. So they're practically like using a pastel. So it's certainly a very rustic project. But that's okay. Not everything that you create has to be perfect all of the time. As I say, half the fun is just kind of messing about sometimes and just not really thinking about the end result. It's more like finding techniques, finding ideas, giving your brain a bit of a jump start, or as I say, a challenge, because I think we'll get stuck in our ways a bit as well, just doing the same things. So I think it's fun to kind of try and do something different now and again. So if I had a paintbrush, that would be great to spread some of the paper, spread the pencil in the water, so you could practically use it as a very thin paint, to be honest. So just kind of give it a little bit of a blend, and I can just highlight some of the areas where the ripped paper's showing. Just give it a little bit of a define. And just shade a little bit as well, the stem of the flower. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it's given you inspiration to sort of have a go, play around with some limited products and 2 centimetres 2 centimetres of double-sided tape. Obviously you can have a whole reel of that if you want to, but that was just my little kind of bit of fun with this project. So thank you for watching, and I will see you again really soon. Bye!